be able to meet in person after these long 2 years of pandemics, travel restrictions, and physical meeting restrictions. So welcome to Barcelona for those who are coming from abroad. Welcome to the VPH Summer School for the others who are already in Barcelona. We'll have an intensive working week. Despite we're in the sunny Barcelona, the weather is with us. We will all work a lot during this week. I hope we will happily work, and you will learn a lot of things during the hands-ons, during the talks. I hope you will seize the opportunity also to talk to the keynote speakers. We're very lucky. We have a great bunch of international keynote speakers who are highly experienced researchers, some of them also medical doctors. So please seize the opportunity during the coffee breaks. As you see, it's quite a familiar event. We're not too many. So seize the opportunity to talk to the speakers, because these are the persons that otherwise you would have a lot of difficulty to catch up with at a conventional congress. Because people go to congress, they have their meetings, and they're very difficult to access. During this welcome, so I've talked about work. Of course, after the VPH Summer School, we're here in Poblano. So if we're about 10-15 minutes away from the seashore by walking. So the days are long, and after the VPH Summer School, so seize the opportunity to have a walk to the beach. There are a lot of restaurants there and a lot of bars where you can hang out and enjoy Barcelona also. So I would like to, during this introduction and this welcome, I would like to introduce you to the VPH Summer School. What is the spirit? What is the organization? And I can't do that if I'm not introducing the VPH Institute, which is an international organization behind this event. So this VPH Summer School is about a highly multifactorial disorder. So all the VPH Summer Schools have the same structure, but from year to year, so there is a general topic that decides a bit the type of experts we are calling to speak. So highly multifactorial disorders stand for a huge burden. So we typically call these disorders where not only the biology plays a role, but also the physics. So here in particular, physical forces. Physical forces intervene in a lot of, well, in all the musculoskeletal disorders. That stands for a huge burden worldwide. We still don't know how to cure these disorders. We only treat symptoms. We treat joint stiffness, we treat pain, but not in a curative way. We just try to lessen the impact of these symptoms on the quality of life of the patients. People commonly associate these disorders with age, which is true. But not only. Actually, in midlife, so around 40 to 50 years old, a lot of people have already a disabling pain. And I can think about low back pain, for example. So these persons have still a lot of years to live and still want to be active. So first professionally active, and then when they get retired, hopefully they still can enjoy at least 15 to 20 years of retirement and doing things. So if they are disabled, they can't enjoy their lives. And we really need to be able to integrate a lot of multidisciplinary things, first to understand why in some persons such disorders becomes disabling by the age of 45 years old, why in some persons they only start to be disabling at the age of 70 years old, in order to do better prevention. And then, and also in order to run an early diagnosis. Early diagnosis is really a great challenge with these disorders. In general, when you rely on medical images, to diagnose rheumatology problem, you're already too late. Once signs have appeared in the tissues, since it has a very long dynamic, you're already too late. And you have a cascade of events that are that are feedback looped by physical forces, by the genetics, etc., that you can't stop. So early diagnosis and then understanding pathophysiology is actually the key to be able to prevent dramatic developments and disabling developments of the disorders. So it's not only about medicine, it's not only about bench-side experiments, it's not only about biology, it's about multidisciplinary and highly transversal integration. And this is where computer models and the ability to conceptualize certain phenomena and parameterize these phenomena with descriptors you can act on, you can link to real-life descriptors of a patient or real-life descriptors of cell culture experiments becomes very relevant, because you come with a model that you can perturb at will without harming anyone. Maybe you just harm the CPU or the RAM of your computer, but that's the only harm you will do. And you can understand a lot of things. So you can use that directly for medicine. You can also use that to iterate with experimental biologists and run new experiments people wouldn't have thought about otherwise. So this is why actually the virtual physiological human concept was born and is being developed. So it's highly transversal, highly multifrontal. The end vision is, of course, in silico medicine, digital twins in health, but along the way, there are much more integration to do than only medicine. There is also fundamental biology and experiments. So I would like to introduce you a little bit the VPH Institute, and particularly the student committee of the VPH Institute, which is the branch of the institute that promotes the VPH summer school and a lot of activities for early researchers. So there is a nice sentence coined by Ana Claudia Antunes, which is: the future is our present for the next generation. And this is what we're talking about. We're talking about educating the next generation to something that is relatively new. Computer models, not to design a plane, but computer models where we have to integrate many different expertise in order to tackle something that is highly complex and in many ways cannot always be measured. So these are also computer models that poses a very strong challenge in terms of verification and validation. So traditional validation is just comparing a prediction to something you can measure. But if you're predicting things that you cannot really measure, so you have to be creative to assess your models, because you can't just say, I won't assess my model because I can't validate it. So you have to be creative. You have to find ways to do indirect validation. You need to develop good practices for multiple verifications, etc. And it really requires a new kind of training for the youngest generations of researchers, but also medical doctors. This morning we will have a very nice example of a talk by Aaron, who is here, who is a medical doctor and has embraced actually in silico technology. So he and his team, and to do the translation to clinics. So the aim of the VPH Institute Student Committee is to promote the VPH Institute as a community career development of early scientists. Want to highlight excellence, highlighting excellence through excellent training. So VPH Summer School and conferences, but also recognitions and awards. Recognitions and awards, some might see it as politics. but it's not only, of course, it's a bit of politics, but it's also high level and excellent promotion, is putting in the front of the scene a work that is an achievement of a PhD thesis, that is an achievement of years of research. So this work is projected thanks to an award in front of the scene, and in order to really showcase an achievement that has been selected among a lot of other achievements by an independent jury of international experts that all agree to recognize that the work was great. So that's scientific promotion that is extremely important for the community, for the science in general. An award can have even more visibility than a journal paper that is just one additional journal paper amongst the sea of millions of papers published every year. Of course, as an early researcher, an award is important because it doesn't only project your research in front of the scene, but it also projects your name in front of the scene. So that's very important. At some point, you will have to enrich your CV. You will have to develop your own independent career. You will have to ask money for that. And you will have to be able to convince people that investing money on your career development is worthwhile. So award is very important. And the activities are designed to favor scientific interactions, mentorship among junior and senior community members across different disciplines. So the VPH Summer School is probably one of the maximum expressions of this. As I said, we're in a family community, and you have highly trained, highly experienced principal investigators coming and present, and they are just accessible to you at the coffee break. We have a lot of time for the discussions too. So during the discussion of the talk, please don't be shy. There are absolutely no stupid questions. Questions come from curiosity. Questions comes from your own recognition of your ignorance. And you ask a question in order to be less ignorant once you got the answer. So a question is not something that you should be ashamed about. A question, recognizing your ignorance, is actually the engine of research. If we wouldn't recognizing our ignorance, no one would be a researcher. So very important, no stupid questions, seize the opportunity, ask as much as you can. If you don't understand the answer, it's okay to say, I'm sorry, I haven't understood very well your answer. Is it possible to develop that further? If there is no time during the session, no problem, because the clock is ticking, so we have to control that. And actually, I'm a bit long now. But if there is no time, so basically, this discussion can continue in the hall at the coffee break, at the poster sessions, etc. So feel free to catch up with researchers and say, hey, super interesting. You know, I'm working about this and I have a poster. So would you have time then to come to my poster and discuss a little bit? So do that. It's really a fantastic place to do that very, very easily. I'm passing that. I was talking about the awards. So there are a lot of awards promoted by the VPH Institute. There's Best PhD, Best VPHI Thesis Awards. So there are two. The one in silico medicine and one in silico medicine with application in industrial R&D. So no, actually the award deadline has passed. So if you want to compete for these awards, you need to go for next year competition. There are awards also at the VPH conference, which is the Best VPHI Student Award. And there is the Best VPHI Poster Award at the VPH conference, so at the VPH Summer School, pardon. So if you have your poster and you have hung your poster and you're a VPHI member, so you basically automatically compete for this award. So by the end of the week, so we will know who is the winner. So it's not only the poster, it's the poster plus a discussion around the poster that is being evaluated. So this is the people of the VPHI Student Committee. So as a senior researcher, I'm the chair, and I'm co-chairing this with the manager of the VPH Institute, Martina Contin. And then we have Shatanik, Robin, Zeynep, Christian, Timothy, and Mojaba, who are all PhD students and greatly supporting the activities of the student committee. So we have keynotes webinars, we're organizing the VPH Summer School, and we're also taking part into the organization of student events at the VPH conference, so mentor-mentees meetings, social student events, etc. So these are the activities. And we have among the activities, there is a VPHI keynote webinars. So it's probably the same spirit as the VPH Summer School, at least the morning talks, but it lasts the whole year. So here we basically ask senior researchers, recognized researchers, so to give a talk. It's an online talk. There is a lot of success. So at each talk we have around 100 or more attendees. Then the talks are available on YouTube. So you can also go to the YouTube channel of the VPH Institute. You will see all the talks. It's very diverse, imaging, tissue engineering, cardiac, musculoskeletal. Then you have also transversal skill talks. Here we had an example of how to write a scientific paper. And this is, again, a nice forum to not interact physically, of course, but then to ask a lot of questions without being under pressure by time, as if it were a congress, or without being in competition while you're asking with very high experts that ask a lot of very precise, very specific questions and don't leave you time to ask maybe more curiosity questions for your own growing. So if you're not that early stage researcher, but you finishing to be an early stage researcher and you're starting to develop your independent research, you can also ask to be a speaker for the VPH keynote webinars. So just reach us and propose yourself as a speaker. This is also a way then to promote people who are in the process of consolidating their research career. Just a few words about the structure of the VPH Summer School, and then I leave the word to Ricard. So we have a progression all along the week, so according to the transversality that I was talking about. So today is the first day, and we won't have talks about very detailed models, but we will have more talks about basic science, clinical understanding. And then we drop to acquisition, processing, quantification, so all the data we need to integrate into the models in order to calibrate, interpret, etc. Then we go really into then the technicisms of the modeling with models at different scales. We go to implementation, how to couple things, how to make equations compatible, etc. We talk about validation and the coupling. And on the last day, on Friday, we have mostly industrial talks. So it's mostly technology transfer. It's kind of the achievements of everything, so towards tangible applications and even business opportunities. So every year, actually, we had collaboration with an initial European initial training network. So now until 2024, so the training network that is supporting the VPH Summer School is Disc for All, about low back pain. So actually, you will hear a lot about the spine. And so we have workshops and roundtable. So on Friday, actually, which is then the industry day, so we'll start with a workshop about business in innovative health. So we'll have a representative of UPF Venture, which is a structure within UPF that supports the development of spin-off and startups out of research. And we won't talk about patent, IP protection, etc., which is something that a lot of people already talk about. We will rather talk about how to secure fundings. So when you're in the process of transferring your research to build a business, so where do you find the money? And that's a big question. So there are different figures. There are business angels, there are venture capitals, there are fools, family, and friends. And how to approach these people when it is timely to approach these people. Sometimes because of your current development of the technology, you don't want to approach directly venture capital. You want to approach maybe more friendly capital who is a bit less interested in having money return. And or you can go also on soft funding through public calls. So there are in every country, there are more and more public calls that provide soft funding. So maybe 30,000 euros 1 year, 90,000 euros the other year, etc. And then you go to the process. Maybe more slowly than if you would have directly an investment of 1 million euros, but at least you don't have to share the ownership or part of the companies with anyone. So you're still very independent of your moves. So Albert will talk about this. Important, today we have the visit to the Barcelona Supercomputing Center, to the Mare Nostrum this afternoon. We will have an autobus that we will find so at the entry of the campus, the main entry. So be punctual. So I don't know, Aneta, what time is the bus? 1:60. Okay. Okay. So at 20
minutes is just in front.
Yeah. So just be punctual. So we will also have to be very punctual during the visit of the Mare Nostrum, and because 1 year it happened that we went out very late. The visit was very nice with a lot of questions, discussions, and the bus drivers basically drove away. So we had to come back by metro, which is not a big deal, but if we can come back by bus, so everything becomes easier. So these are the speakers that you will discover during the week. You see we have a lot of speakers. Again, I insist, catch up with the people, discuss, and seize the opportunity basically to have them here. Some of them will be online, unfortunately. And on Friday, so we will close the VPH Summer School with a roundtable where we will touch the questions of ethics. In silico technologies raise new ethics questions that go beyond the traditional bioethics that we know. So we will talk about this, so good practices and ethics in silico medicine and e-health. So we'll have debate with different experts. We'll talk about current standards for model safety, artificial intelligence, software certification, proper use of simulation technologies in health, recommendation to medical doctors, to patients, citizens, empowerment of patients and citizens, looking to the future, health predictions, preventions, possible ethical pitfalls of short-term and long-term predictions. Is that good? Is that good to be always checking prediction about your own health, or will it contribute to develop obsessive behaviors in the population? How can we make people aware about the limitations of these predictions, etc.? So we will basically talk about this. And of course, access to proper technologies, education inequalities. So in some countries, you can view in silico technologies in health as a democratization, but it might not be true everywhere. because IT infrastructures are not the same, because access to device, to databases in some places might be more difficult to other places, or only accessible to a bunch of reduced bunch of persons. We've seen that with the COVID. Huh? We've seen that elders, for example, who had to deal with all the electronic systems for COVID certificate, etc., were a bit lost. So there is no need to go, to very far away in the world to really see such inequalities. These are the people who will participate to the roundtable, all experts. So we will have science journalists chairing the roundtable and writing basically a press article about this after that. So at some point the roundtable will be open to the public, and then again feel free to also interact with the people. Feel free to comment on what you've heard in the debate. If you have curiosity, questions, again, feel free to talk about it and have these people answering you or continuing the debate on maybe a new idea that you have raised. One comment about the hands-ons. We will have a merging of two hands-ons here, 3 and 4, which is about intervertebral disc modeling and spine modeling. We had two groups of 6 people. Now we'll have a group of 12 persons with more instructors, and we will merge intervertebral disc modeling and spine orthopedics in a same hands-ons. And then we had only 2 persons who registered for these hands-ons. So this person have been contacted by Aneta, so to ask whether you would rather join another hands-on, basically to favor the group dynamics within the hands-ons. Huh? Because it will happen that in this hands-on, if you're only 2, you will have more instructors than students. So that's a bit weird at some point. So this afternoon, after the visit to the Mare Nostrum, we will gather here in the auditorium, and then you will split by groups of hands-ons, and you will go together with your instructors to the rooms. Okay? And on Friday, so we'll have the announcement of the VPHI Best Poster Awards, and we will have the Best Hands-On Awards. So you will be working 15 hours in your hands-on in group. On Friday, you will have a formal presentation of what you've reached. You will be guided by the instructors during this presentation with very practical advices. And there will be a jury who will decide who is the winner of the Best Hands-On Award. There are many people in the same hands-on. Everyone is a winner. Everyone receives a prize. You can imagine that it's not a 1,000 prize money, because we cannot afford that. But you will have a very nice book of Eric Topol, who is a cardiologist and has worked a lot in the integration of artificial intelligence in medicine. So I have spoiled already the award. So with no further delay, so we will host the first speaker. Maybe, Ricard, you can already settle your computer. In the meantime, while Ricard is setting the computer, I will ask all the instructors and Aneta to come in front so that you can see them.
La la la. Yes. So you see, you have a lot of people working for you this week. Huh? If you look at the balance of people, so that's really quite unique. So of course, there's a lot of people, a lot of faces to recognize, but then you have them in front. They all wear a badge with organizer onto it. So any question you might have, so basically then you can ask these people. Aneta in the center as the chief organizer of everything. She knows everything. So for practicalities, etc., she's probably the best person to inquire. And then that's it. So thank you guys. And so now let's have the summer school beginning.